I typed, "Wow, congrats." And then I just sat there staring at my own message for a full minute before I sent it.
A full minute. Over 3 little words?
A full minute, Maria. Because inside, I did not feel congratulations at all.
What actually happened?
My old university group chat, the one I muted 2 years ago for very good reasons, suddenly exploded with messages. One classmate got promoted to director. Another one just bought a house. A third one posted a photo holding a baby, captioned, "Our little family is growing."
All in the same hour?
All in the same hour, like the universe scheduled it specifically to ruin my Tuesday.
So what went through your head?
Honestly, the fastest, meanest math I've ever done. I calculated their age, their timeline, and then compared it directly to mine, down to the month.
And you lost that math competition.
I lost badly, and I hadn't even agreed to enter it in the first place. Suddenly, my own life looked like a to-do list nobody had checked off.
That feeling has a name. You know.
Please don't tell me it's something embarrassing.
It's just feeling left behind, and it's one of the most common feelings people carry around silently.
It felt anything but common in that moment. It felt like proof that everyone else had figured life out except me.
But here's what I noticed later, once I calmed down. That comparison wasn't actually about facts. It was about a fake finish line I'd built in my head without even realizing it.
A finish line nobody agreed to.
Exactly. And I didn't even build it consciously. It just quietly formed over years of watching other people's highlight reels.
That's when you started practicing something new.
Right. That's when I started practicing something I now call the own pace method, learning to measure my life against my own timeline instead of a group chat's highlight reel.
So today, we're talking about that exact feeling, the quiet, heavy sense of being left behind, and how to talk about it honestly in English, without pretending it doesn't exist, and without letting it run the whole show.
If you've ever opened a group chat and immediately regretted it, this episode is for you.
Welcome back to Speak Unstoppable. I'm Maria.
And I'm John, the man who lost a math competition he never entered.
Not letting that one go.
I've accepted this show exists partly to humble me.
Today's real question hits deep. Do you feel left behind?
Behind in your career, relationships, learning English, life in general.
This feeling doesn't care what area it shows up in. It just shows up.
And today, we're naming it honestly, then figuring out how to talk back to it in calm, confident English.
We've also got our word tour. 6 power words for this exact feeling and rewrite it.
So, John, that group chat moment, was that really the first time you'd felt this way?
Honestly, no. It's happened before, just never that intensely. Usually it's smaller, like seeing a coworker get praised in a meeting or noticing a friend's vacation photos.
Small doses of the same poison.
Exactly. And I used to think the solution was just stop comparing yourself to others like it's a simple switch you flip.
That's actually the myth we need to break today.
Which part?
That comparison is something you can just decide to stop doing through willpower alone.
It's not that simple?
Not even a little. Our brains are wired to compare. It's how we've always figured out where we stand in a group.
So the comparing itself isn't the actual problem.
Right. The problem is what we're comparing and how much information we actually have.
Meaning?
Meaning a group chat message is one sentence. It's not someone's stress, their debt, their doubts, their bad days. It's the polished headline. not the article.
So we're comparing our whole messy behind-the-scenes life to someone else's one-line announcement.
Exactly that. And it's an unfair comparison every single time. Not because the other person is lying, but because we're only ever seeing a tiny slice.
That reframes things already. It's not that I'm behind, it's that I'm judging myself against incomplete information.
Incomplete and curated. Nobody posts still figuring it out in a celebratory tone.
So if we can't just switch off comparison, what do we actually do with it?
We change what we do with the feeling once it shows up, instead of pretending it won't show up at all.
That sounds more realistic than just don't compare yourself.
Much more realistic. Because that advice usually makes people feel worse, like they're failing at not comparing on top of everything else.
A second layer of failure, stacked on the first one.
Exactly. So today isn't about deleting the feeling, it's about what you do the moment it arrives.
Can I add my version of this? Because it's slightly different from yours?
Please. I need company.
Mine wasn't a group chat. It was a wedding. My cousin's wedding, actually. 2 years younger than me.
Oh, that's a specific kind of ache.
A very specific kind. Everyone kept asking me the exact same question all night.
Let me guess.
So, when's it your turn?
Painful.
So painful. And I smiled and said something polite every single time, but inside I was doing my own version of your math.
The comparison math.
The comparison math, except mine wasn't about a career, it was about relationships, timing, whether I'd somehow missed a window.
Did you actually believe you'd missed something?
In that moment, completely, I went home and just sat on my bed, still in my dress, feeling like everyone else had gotten a manual for life that I never received.
That's such a specific, honest way to put it.
It's exactly how it felt. Like there was a schedule everyone else knew about, and I'd somehow missed the memo.
But looking back now,
Looking back, I realized that cousin's relationship had its own complicated history I knew nothing about. Her on time wasn't simple either.
so even the person who looked ahead of you had a story you couldn't see.
Exactly. And that's the part that keeps surprising me every time this feeling shows up.
Did you say any of this to your cousin? Or keep it to yourself?
I kept it to myself for months, honestly, because I felt embarrassed even having the thought, like it was petty to feel this way at someone's wedding.
But you can hold both at once, can't you?
That's what I eventually realized. I was genuinely happy for her, and I was also quietly grieving something about my own pace in the same evening.
Those two feelings don't cancel each other out.
They really don't. I used to believe that feeling behind meant I wasn't a good enough friend or cousin, but it was never really about her at all.
It was about the invisible schedule you'd built for yourself.
One I never actually agreed to.
Okay, so let's reframe this properly. What does behind even mean if there's no single race everyone's actually running?
That's the question, isn't it? Behind only makes sense if there's one shared finish line.
But there isn't one.
There isn't. Career, relationships, learning a language, none of it has one universal timeline everyone secretly agreed to.
So when I say I'm behind, what am I actually comparing myself to?
Usually a made-up average, built from whoever's loudest in your feed that week.
That's uncomfortably accurate.
It's not even a fair average, because the people who are struggling quietly almost never post about it.
So the sample is skewed from the start.
Completely skewed. You're comparing your full, complicated life to a highlight reel built from the most confident, most photogenic moments of other people's lives.
Which means behind isn't really a fact.
It's a feeling, wearing a fact's clothing.
Say that again.
Behind isn't a fact, it's a feeling dressed up to look like one.
I need that on a wall somewhere too.
The real question isn't am I behind everyone else, it's am I moving in a direction that actually matters to me?
That's a completely different question to answer.
A much kinder one, and honestly, a much more useful one.
Can I push this a bit further?
Please.
If direction matters more than speed, does that mean speed doesn't matter at all?
Not quite. Speed matters for your own goals, in your own context, but it stops mattering the moment you're only measuring it against someone else's clock.
So it's fine to want to move faster in your own life.
Completely fine. That's ambition. And it's healthy. It only turns painful when the target becomes someone else's timeline instead of your own honest one.
That distinction actually changes how the whole feeling sits in my chest, if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense. Wanting more for yourself feels like motivation. Wanting to match someone else's exact schedule feels like punishment.
So let's actually break down the own pace method, because I think people want the practical version now, not just the philosophy.
Fair. Step 1.
Step 1. When comparison hits, name exactly what triggered it. Not the whole feeling, just the specific trigger.
Like a photo of a house, instead of just, I feel bad.
Exactly. Because naming the trigger takes away some of its power immediately. It becomes a specific thing instead of a vague cloud.
Step 2.
Step 2. Ask yourself one honest question. Do I actually want that specific thing, or do I just want proof that I'm doing okay?
That's a sharp question.
It's the most useful one I've found. Sometimes the honest answer is yes, I genuinely want that.
And sometimes?
Sometimes it's no. I just wanted reassurance, which is a completely different problem with a completely different solution.
Step 3.
Step 3. Write down, even mentally, one thing from your own timeline that actually moved forward this month.
Even something small?
Especially something small. The comparison spiral works because it only shows you other people's highlights and your own gaps. This step forces balance back in.
So it's not about ignoring their progress, it's about remembering your own exists too.
Exactly that. Step 4. And this one's simple. Mute what you need to mute.
Like that group chat.
Like that group chat. Protecting your peace isn't avoidance, it's maintenance.
Doesn't muting things feel a little like hiding from reality, though?
I used to think so, but hiding would be pretending the feeling doesn't exist. Muting is just choosing when and how you let a trigger reach you.
There's a difference between avoiding a feeling and managing your exposure to it.
Exactly that distinction. You're still allowed to unmute it later, on a stronger day, when it won't knock you sideways.
So the 4 steps are: name the trigger, ask what you actually want, note your own progress, and manage your exposure.
That's the whole method. Nothing dramatic, nothing that requires becoming a completely different person overnight.
It's basically emotional first aid for a very specific, very common wound.
That's a great way to describe it, honestly.
Okay, but let me push back here. Because I think some people listening genuinely are behind on something specific, and it's not just a feeling, it's a real gap.
That's fair. And I don't want to pretend every single case is just perception.
Like someone who's genuinely years behind on savings, or someone who really did lose time to illness or hardship.
Right. Those situations are real, and no method should pretend they're purely mental.
So, how does the own pace method hold up against something that's actually true, not just a comparison illusion?
It still applies, just differently. Even in a real gap, the useful question isn't how do I catch up to their exact position, it's what's the next honest step from where I actually am.
So, the target shifts from someone else's position to your own next step.
Exactly, because chasing someone else's current position ignores that they started from a completely different starting line.
Different resources, different circumstances, different starting points entirely.
Right, comparing your recovery to someone else's advantage isn't motivation, it's just cruelty dressed up as ambition.
That line needs to stay.
Thank you, I'll allow it once.
So, even in real, factual gaps, the comparison to a specific person is still the wrong tool.
The tool that actually works is comparing today's version of you to last month's version of you.
That's a much smaller, more honest comparison.
It is, and it's the only one that actually gives you useful information. Comparing yourself to a stranger's highlight reel tells you nothing about your own progress.
But comparing this month's you to last month's, you tells you exactly where you stand.
Precisely, and it's the only comparison where you actually have all the missing context, because it's your own life.
So the goal isn't zero comparison, it's redirecting the comparison towards something that's actually fair.
Exactly that. Fair comparisons build motivation. Unfair ones just build shame, and shame has never once made anyone move faster.
So let's bring this back to that group chat message you almost didn't send.
Please, drag me back to my lowest moment.
If you'd used the own pace method right there, what would that evening have actually looked like?
Honestly, probably still a little sting. That part never fully disappears. But instead of spiraling, I'd have named the trigger a promotion announcement, asked if I actually wanted that exact job, which, by the way, I don't, and then thought of one thing that moved forward in my own month.
Which was?
I'd finally finished a project I'd been avoiding for weeks. Small, unglamorous, but genuinely mine.
That's the whole shift today, isn't it? Feeling left behind doesn't mean you're actually behind.
It usually means you're comparing your full, complicated life to someone else's highlight reel.
Name the trigger. Question the want. Notice your own progress. Protect your peace.
And even in real gaps, compare yourself to your own past, not someone else's present.
I actually feel calmer just hearing it broken down like that.
That's the goal. Being left behind isn't a fact waiting to be discovered. It's a feeling that shows up sometimes, and now you know exactly what to do when it knocks.
And the next time someone announces something big in a group chat,
I'll probably still feel that first quick sting, and that's fine. That part's just human.
but it won't turn into an hour of silent comparison math anymore.
No, because now I know the math was never fair in the first place.
Comparing your whole story to someone else's opening line was never going to end well.
Exactly. So from now on, congrats messages get sent within seconds, not minutes.
Now let's slow down and practice today's power words, words that help you talk about comparison, pace, and that quiet feeling of being left behind. Our first word is comparison.
Comparison. Comparison.
Comparison means looking at two things side by side to judge how they're different or similar.
In conversation, you might say, I fell into a comparison spiral after scrolling for 10 minutes.
And in writing, you could say, constant comparison online affects how people feel about their own lives.
This word is the whole engine behind today's episode. Honestly, since almost everything we talked about traces back to it.
Right, and just naming it helps because it turns a vague, heavy feeling into something specific you can actually examine, instead of a fog you can't touch. Our next word is envious.
Envious. Envious.
Envious means wanting something someone else has, often with a slightly uncomfortable feeling attached.
You might say, I felt a little envious when I saw her new promotion.
Or in writing, it's normal to feel envious sometimes. It doesn't make you a bad person.
I like that this word gives people permission to admit the feeling instead of hiding it, since so many people feel guilty just for having it.
Exactly. Envy isn't shameful. It's just information about what you actually want, and information is always useful, even the uncomfortable kind. Our next word is unfold.
Unfold. Unfold.
Unfold means to happen gradually over time, like a story slowly opening up.
You could say, my career unfolded much slower than I expected, but it did unfold.
Or in writing, life rarely unfolds exactly according to plan.
This word fights the idea that things should happen instantly, or on a fixed schedule everyone else seems to be following.
Right, unfolding implies patience, not failure, and that's a distinction most of us never learned growing up. Our next word is worthy.
Worthy, worthy.
Worthy means deserving value or respect, especially in relation to yourself.
You might say, I had to remind myself that my pace is still worthy of respect.
Or in writing, feeling behind doesn't mean you're any less worthy.
This connects directly to the wedding story earlier. That quiet feeling of missing some manual for life.
It really does. Feeling behind can quietly make you question your own worth. And that's exactly the link we need to break, because pace and worth were never actually connected. Our next word is overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed means feeling like there's too much to handle at once, mentally or emotionally.
You could say, seeing everyone's updates at once left me completely overwhelmed.
Or, in writing, it's easy to feel overwhelmed when comparing yourself to many people simultaneously.
This describes exactly what happened in that group chat moment.
One message might be fine, but a flood of them at once? That's overwhelming every time. Our final word is pace.
Pace. Pace.
Pace means the speed at which something happens or progresses.
You might say, I'm learning to trust my own pace instead of someone else's.
Or in writing, everyone moves at a different pace, and that's genuinely okay.
This word basically sums up the whole method today.
It does. Own pace method, right there in the name, and it's the word I want people to leave with more than any other today. Those were today's power words: comparison, envious, unfold, worthy, overwhelmed, and pace. Try using at least one of them the next time you talk about your own progress this week, even in a small, quiet sentence to yourself.
So later, when you have a quiet moment, come back to this part and read it slowly, or even say it out loud. This is our Rewrite It segment, where we take heavy comparison-driven sentences and turn them into calmer, more honest English, one small phrase at a time.
First sentence. Everyone is ahead of me, and I'll never catch up.
Let's rewrite that. I feel envious sometimes, but my life is still unfolding at its own pace.
Much better. And notice it admits the feeling without letting it become the whole story. Second sentence. I saw her news, and I just felt like a failure instantly.
Rewrite. That comparison hit hard for a second, but it doesn't decide my worth.
That already sounds like someone who can feel a sting without collapsing under it. Third sentence. I'm so behind, I don't even know where to start anymore.
Rewrite. I feel a bit overwhelmed right now, so I'll just focus on one small step today.
That one turns paralysis into something actually doable. Fourth sentence. Other people had it figured out way before me. Something's wrong with me.
Rewrite. Other people's timelines unfolded differently than mine, and that's genuinely fine.
That single change removes the idea that there's something broken about you specifically and puts the difference back where it belongs, in timing, not worth. Fifth sentence. I'll never be as far along as them, so what's even the point?
Rewrite. I'm not worthy of comparing myself to them. I'm worthy of building my own pace.
That feels like reclaiming the whole sentence instead of surrendering to it. Sixth sentence. I keep comparing myself, and I can't seem to stop no matter what.
Rewrite. Comparison shows up sometimes, but I'm learning what to do the moment it does.
That word learning changes everything there. It turns a fixed struggle into an ongoing practice.
Notice something about all 6 of these rewrites.
They're not pretending the feeling disappears.
Exactly. Not one of them says I never compare myself or I'm always confident.
They just replace collapse with steadiness, and steadiness with a small next step.
That's really the whole heart of today's episode, isn't it?
It is. You don't need to stop feeling left behind completely.
You need permission to feel envious sometimes, to feel overwhelmed sometimes, and still know your pace is worthy.
And, most of all, permission to let your own story unfold without racing anyone else's clock.
Because the version of you moving at your own honest pace is still further along than the version of you frozen by someone else's highlight reel.
Say that one more time, slowly, for anyone who needs it today.
Your own honest pace, however slow it feels, beats standing still while comparing.
Keep that sentence with you this week, especially the next time a group chat lights up all at once.
So let's bring today's lesson home. Feeling left behind isn't proof that you actually are. It's usually proof that you're comparing your whole life to someone else's highlight reel.
Name the trigger, question what you actually want, notice your own progress, and protect your peace.
That's the whole own pace method.
Here's your challenge this week. Next time comparison hits, don't spiral, just name the exact trigger out loud.
Then come back and tell us in the comments what happened. Did naming it actually help?
Write it below, even if the feeling is still a little messy.
And if this episode helped you feel calmer about your own pace, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Thank you for spending this time with us today.
Keep practicing, keep moving at your own honest pace.
Bye for now.